Guys, today we have kind of the part 2 of the Gundam Seraphim review, because technically speaking, Seraphim Gundam here is actually a part of Seraphim. It is in fact the backpack, which is pretty awesome. You even see here in this shot, you've got Seraphim popping off the back, and you've got Seraphim here in Trans Am mode. If I remember correctly, that's kind of how they debuted it. They were fighting the Thrones, if I remember correctly, or something along those lines. Because it shows them on Earth. I might be wrong. I remember that they showed it off in a way they didn't necessarily mean to. But we'll go over this one pretty quickly, because technically this guy is an accessory and a Gundam. It's weird. Alright, so you get here a great shot of Seraphim popping off right there. You get all these great GN particle effects going on in the background. Nice shot of some rocks and earth and whatnot. That's pretty sweet. Gundam 00 emblem up there. HG00 over here. Of course, all the great stuff down here. And Bandai, because that's what we buy. Now, I will say, this box is a little worse for wear, because I bought this on, I think it was on Amazon originally. And, well, they didn't ship it very well. I mean, it was just kind of brown paper wrapped, if I remember correctly. So literally just kind of wrapped this box with a little bit of, tiny bit of padding and paper. And so yeah, it's a little bit squished. And I paid way too much for it, because they didn't come up with the re-release for this guy until months after I already purchased it. The same thing with the Gun Archer, and we'll talk about that when I get to it. Let's take a quick look at the box, though. Despite it being damaged, it does of course show that goes on the backpack, changes into Gundam. You got some great action shots there. It can in fact wield Seraphim's weapons. We'll talk about that. Of course, you get it on the backpack mode. Got some cool little details that it does have, and it can be mounted on a stand, as most of them can. You come down here to the bottom and you see, of course, this is number 37. So this was meant to go with, realistically, the first Seraphim, which are probably going to be number 36, if I had to guess. So whereas the other one was number 59. And here you can see some of the damage that came from this box. Not very happy about that, guys. But it's okay. It's just a box. Here you got some nice tech specs in the front and the rear shot of it. It is the GN009. I think Seraphim, I didn't cover it, was GN008. So that's the model number. That's pretty awesome. It's not very big. It's only 16.6 meters tall. You can tell it's a pretty small thing. It's only 27.4 tons, so it's not even that heavy. Come over here, you get a great little read-up of everything. That probably tells you exactly what happened in that shot there. And a little read-up of T-area right there. Come over here, you get the standard warnings. Plastics. It was only 1,000 yen. Yeah, I really wish I had only paid about that. So, and we'll go back to, yep, box is upside down, and as usual is illustrated by Naochika Morishita. I don't understand why on some of the boxes it's printed with his name Morishita Naochika, and some of them is Naochika Morishita. I don't actually know which way the name is supposed to go now, guys. Thanks for that. And I get that Japanese surname and last name are, well, they're flipped. So, like I said, I don't know which way it goes. So, I'm saying the name right or wrong one way or the other. But let's go ahead and take a look at this little guy. Alright, guys. Now I realize that's a blank screen in front of you. That is not showing off the Gundam like normal when I do this. So, what we're going to do is a quick recap. So, I don't know what that just was. It was something outside. So, little quick recap here. You get Seraphim, and it's awesome. Now, of course, you notice it's missing its backpack, because that is, of course, what we're here to look at. So, it generally plugs in right there. So, what we have, is this. This is the standard version. This is what comes with Seraphim as it is. And I showed you before, it does sort of, it transforms just a little bit. Of course, you get the face moves, the antenna, or the V-fin does move. These not arms also move. Well, let me sort of get it. It's supposed to be like that. It's really wonky with the way these things are mounted. Now, of course, this is just the backpack. This is not actually Seraphim. It's just the stand-in. So, what we will do now is look at actual Seraphim. And you can see, well, they did a really good job of essentially turning this into this. It's pretty much the same thing. Now, I really wish it was not focusing on Seraphim. You go back there. You go into the back. So this is actually really neat. I like the fact that they give you the actual option of having the original backpack Gundam or actually having it in Gundam form, one way or the other. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put that in there so you can really get a good approximation of it. Now they both have the exact same dumb problems with the little V-fin. But I mean, if you look at that, I mean, other than the obvious differences, like here in the what will be the knees, I mean, if you cleared out some of those gaps and really filled them in, or I'm sorry, well, emptied them, you'd probably look a lot more like this. And of course, this takes some liberties because it's basically folded up bits. But if you come up here to what will be the arms and the cannons, that is really, really close, with the exception of folding and moving parts. That is just awesome. Now, if you come back here, you do see some blatantly obvious parts. So here it's just blank. There has a nice little red collar. And of course, on this one, you do get the beam emitter, cool green things. And in here, all you get is some holes. Now, one thing that annoys me, I'm going to go ahead and put the original backpack away. One thing that always annoys me about this, they could have given you something, some kind of filler that you could just slap one of those stickers on, and I really wish they had. Or even a clear plastic piece, something, so it really looks like the GN cannons when it's in that mode. Now, one thing I will do real quick is put these little guys back on here because they are kind of part of it. So we'll put them on there as decoration. Now, this guy does have a lot of accessories, and we'll get to them as we go. And I will show that it can, in fact, just plug straight onto Seraphim, just like the other one did. And you just insert it straight into the chest if it wants to go, which, there it goes. Now, in fact, this is how I do display mine. I have the spare backpack in storage, and I use this actually on him because realistically I want all of the Gundams in my display, and since this is technically a separate Gundam, I have it separate and combined. This is kind of a weird thing. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and pull this off of Seraphim again. It sticks on there really, really good. So, actually, I'm going to pull Seraphim completely out of frame. Now, let's go into transformation. It's actually pretty easy, realistically. So, you just come down to the legs, and you unfold them. So, you fix the toe there. You roll out the ankle joint. Like, it just rolls over the polycap. It's very blatant, you know. And of course the polycap is just right there for a nice extended ankle. Then you bend at the knees and you straighten out the leg. Do the same thing on both sides. It's pretty cool. It's almost like, so it does that, and then I have a foot. And now, in fact, I forgot about this part of the transformation. You pop that off. Oh crap, now I don't know which direction it was facing. Hold on. Okay. I don't know if you slide it or just move it up. So I mean, they could have included this on like a sliding gimmick, but it's okay. I thought you had to rotate it at first when I looked at it. You don't have to rotate, you just move it. And hope it sticks. There it goes. Okay. So you get the little knee spikies. I actually completely forgot about that. And then you come up to the obvious arms, fold down, you rotate, and then honestly the arms have a dumb little gimmick. So you pull out these little flappies here, get the little V-fin out of my way. Oh, that's actually locking the arms in place, my bad. Okay, so you gotta kind of move this back flap all the way back so it'll turn, and then you just bend at the elbow. It does have very, very small arms. Now what you can do is put the front flap down a little bit, but the back flap has to sort of stay up or the arms will get in the way. So fold, pull down, rotate. Hopefully that doesn't want to pop off. Bend at the elbow and turn, and there you go. Those were facing the right way, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, you can pull down the big Gundam face. Now this would be awesome because it would just basically be a gunman from Gurren Lagann. Now you turn the V-fins to more or less become those old school chest fins, or clavicle antennas as they called them. Honestly, these things are really a pain in the butt. They never want to position just how you want them. Now, this is realistically pretty much the complete transformation, and I do like that. That is actually pretty cool, but it is kind of useless except for the fact it kind of has cannon arms. But go ahead and finish the transformation. It does require some parts forming. Parts forming? That's stupid. So you take off the head crest, plug it right onto the back. Of course, on the show, it would just, fold back, no problem. Now, of course, you come to the parts, and you get the little bitty head, and it pegs on just like that, and it is basically its own head on its own chest. It's just a weird self-referential Gundam. So head, chest, same thing. It's okay. And it does, in fact, come with little bitty hands like this. They just peg right into the sockets. And you'll see they do come with these clear plastic backhands, which are supposed to be the lenses. Now, the cool thing is in the show, of course, they just fold out and the hand kind of pokes out from the beam emitter, and that's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, he's technically had these on the knees too, on the knee cannons, but they weren't nearly as useful. I don't know why you would have arms on your knees, but hey, it is what it is, guys. So there we actually have Seraphim totally done being transformed. Sorry, I had stuff in the way. I'm running into things with my own hands here. Alright, let's take a quick look at the details, guys, because this guy does have a lot of little details for something like this, Move the arm out of the way here. Come as close as we can to that little bitty face. Really need to... I gotta improve my lighting a little bit, guys. Whoa. Or just knock it over completely, whatever. And just like with Seraphim, it came with this clear camera lens there. I don't remember if they even give you a sticker, but I went ahead and painted it just like I did with Seraphim. Now, I did not clip any of the safety nubs, and it shows. They are ridiculous on this guy. You do, of course, get the tiny little eye stickers in there. This guy is really small. It is like an old school, like tiny wing HG. It is tiny in comparison. And of course you get the stickers for the eyes down there. Now, unlike the backpack part, you actually get some little stickers to highlight those vents on the legs, thrusters, whatever they're supposed to be. And realistically, there's not a whole lot else to this guy. He's black all over, just very black. That was really to disguise what he was, and I do like that. Of course, you get these extra bits up here, but you don't really have to have them, but they are there. They're pretty cool. And I like that you can swap these from the standard one to this guy. They all come with swappable parts. I really do dig that. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Let's show off this detail that's different. Now, you notice here, this gray knee venti area on the... this is a major difference here. These are huge, like, thrusters or vents right here. Those are rather tiny. Honestly, I wish they'd found a way to split the difference there. That's the one major difference I really prefer on this versus this. They could have found a way to make that work a little bit better, but it's okay. It is what it is, guys. I'm just knocking over everything. I've got to fix a few things around here, guys. But this thing is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of mean in its own right. I mean, look at it. It's just like a evil little knight. Now let's actually bring in Seraphim so you can see the general size difference here. Other than the actual armor, I mean, he is good, probably 2 heads shorter. I mean, yeah. I mean, his head basically only to the chest of Seraphim. Mind you, it's only meant as a backup unit, and this one actually does have the trial system, just like Natalie did. But of course, you don't actually get to use that until the very last battle when they regain control over Veda. And it is cool. Now let's talk about accessories, because he does have some. Mind you, what you just heard was not one of his accessories, but something else. He does get this little bitty GN machine gun. That is actually a pretty neat gun. Actually, it reminds me a little bit of the one that the O Gundam comes with, but slightly different. Now it does actually have clear plastic right in there. That's not just a gap. And I think, yeah, that has a tiny bit of a blue tint to it. Like the plastic itself actually was tinted properly. And I just panel lined it. I didn't give it any other paint or details. And he does carry it really nicely. Just slides right into his clear plastic hand. No big deal. Now, one thing I did say when I was reviewing Seraphim was that it came with no beam sabers for some strange reason. And I think I found out why. This guy comes with them. Don't know why. I mean, these things are essentially the same as the shoulder or butt-mounted beam sabers that Exia has. So that's not too bad, but he does have them. There's nowhere to store them, but they're there. I'm seriously bumping into everything, guys. Like, I don't know what's going on tonight. It's just one of those things. And he does actually come with some cool beam sabers. And I say some because he does have a couple. Now, these are almost like short master grades. They're good sized beam sabers. I mean, look at these things. They're nearly as tall as he is. Of course, you do get the ability to plug it in the handle, and he can in fact hold them. Now, I don't remember Natalie actually getting to fight much I'm sorry, Natalie. I don't remember Seraphim really battling so much as just coming out and standing there and projecting the trial field. I think the very first time it launched off of the Seraphim, whenever they defended themselves once, actually they might have been against like Mr. Bushido, now that I think about it. Either way, that's like the only time he's ever done anything like really engaged in battle. And this is actually pretty cool. Sorry, he does come with a little bitty stubby one too. Don't know why, but he can. Now, I assume that you can use these, of course, with the Seraphim. I really wish I knew where they would store. There's nothing in the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those out of his hands. He does have a couple other things he can do. He does, in fact, get different side skirts. So you can pull these side skirts off. Come on. Come on. Sorry. They're just on the little bitty polycap joint there, so you really gotta be careful because you only got so many of those in the world, and they do just plug in like that. Now, these things have a very specific purpose, and I will get to that in just a second, because this thing is meant to interact with Seraphim, as we have stated many a time before. Come on, line up. There it goes. Plugs in just like that. Now, instead of showing this all completely installed on Seraphim, I will show you what it does for him. That's kind of being a butt. I'm going to put it on the stand. It does actually have a stand peg, as a normal Gundam should. But now he's taller than he was. So I got to raise the camera up just a little bit, and hopefully it'll stay there. It seems to be one of those days where everything wants to go wonky, so let's see here. So you pull out your Seraphim, and you can take off these hip cannons. Now, they will pull off of the ball joints, but they are on there really stiff. I'll show it off in just a second. Sorry, I'm doing this off camera because I have way more room to do it. God, that's a scary sound every time. Okay, just basically leaving Seraphim naked over here. Alright, so you can pull off these hip guns, and the normal ones plug right in here into this polycap ball socket there, but these are the ones you're going to use for Seraphim. They just plug in right on there, and he actually gets some awesome hip skirt weapons. Now he is more or less fully armed, and when he is in backpack mode, this does still work. So they actually do show these things mounted. In fact, I just mounted those upside down. I just realized that, but that's okay. I'll worry about that when I actually put them back on display. So you can rotate them forward. You can actually use them. Once again, you never see this in the show. Now, unlike Natalie, who did get some on-screen time with just normal weapons, this guy never does, sadly, even though he can do this. And in fact, because he can spin off from Seraphim, he can use all of Seraphim's weapons. And he is in fact the GN drive, so he actually can power them no problem, unlike Natalie, which does not have massive weapons, or I'm sorry, energy storage, despite being the actual GN drive too. So he can in fact use Seraphim's weapons. Now that is actually a really cool look, except that I bumped the camera so badly you couldn't tell. Sorry, I have to reframe everything, guys. Here, hold on. Just finagling all that. I didn't even notice I was bumping the camera like crazy. Now this is actually a really, really cool look. Now, one thing you don't get a whole lot of is black Gundams. Where do you get tiny Gundams like this? Like I said, he is one of the smallest Gundams in the series. He's probably, you know, size-wise, he's about the same size as Gundam Natalie. In fact, I will bring that out just to show you, since we're still talking Tyria's suits. So, I mean, size-wise, he's a little skinnier, but overall, he's about the same height. Of course, Natalie has full arms, where he's got the little nubby arms, but his arms are in fact cannons. So, we're going to go with .2 Seraphim. Though this thing is pretty cool. They went very different colors. White, black. So, I think that is going to pretty much be it for this review, guys. And, of course, this will go back together as an awesome display piece on the backpack of Seraphim. I hope you have enjoyed this. Hope you learned a little bit of something and I wasn't just rambling a lot. Now, if you notice, this one has taken almost as long as the Seraphim review did. That's why I had to split them up. So, yeah. So go back, check out the Seraphim review if you haven't actually seen it. I don't know why you would watch this one first. It's basically part 2. So, alright guys. I will be doing all of my 00 Gundams as I get there. So, we're going to stick around to check out that playlist over time. I will include my master grades as well. I have a lot of the high grades, but I also have the master grades to go with it. And I do like my master grades. So, hope you guys like and subscribe. Check out everything else that goes on my channel. There's all kinds of stuff, guys. Follow me on Facebook, too, at SHOKY, at facebook.com/SHOKY reviews. If you really want to see everything I kind of do, including a few pictures, even some live videos I occasionally do on there, and all the other nerdy stuff I tend to post that I can't really put on YouTube. So, come over there. Give me a like on Facebook as well. I will include a link in the description. So yeah, that's it, guys. Y'all have a wonderful day or night or whatever time it is wherever you are in the world. And remember to always keep on building.